here the first question they ask me, quelle langue est-ce que tu parles? Or will kita speak?
Yeah.
Yeah, and also it depends the company. This company it is Flemish,
Yeah.
but they are working in English. They are hybrid.
Yeah, they are, but we have them as a client as well. So I know a bit the mindset. I know they're Dutch, but they're really looking to grow, and they haven't had the best recruitment processes in the past, and they've installed new ways of working, new ways of doing things. So I think it's a good time to apply there for the moment.
Yes,
So for you, it could be a good thing. So I'm just taking your CV and the questions. I think we're still waiting for your mentor as well.
yes,
Yeah. And I need to figure out how I can record. Are you okay? Because I was asked also to record this meeting so you can look at it
yes.
afterwards. I think it's a very good exercise. So I will start recording once the mentor is here. I don't know if you received the invitation.
You know, I was to send you an email. I get your email by LinkedIn. I was to send you an email.
Yeah, but I called Aliye and I told her that because Zoom wasn't working, I would just send you the Teams
Yeah, for
invite.
me
It would
also I
be,
use Team because you know Microsoft they are integrated
yeah.
360.
Are you well prepared?
Yes, almost. For me, because I have done like 20 more.
20.
Yeah.
Okay. So then before we start, so maybe I can work this way when we do the interview. What would you say could be the cause of those interviews being done and nothing coming out of it?
In some point, I mentioned point that disqualify me. I always
Okay.
like I be very frankly, which is in point I have to not be in this point.
And do you have an example?
Yes, for example, I apply for BWC and is a consultation entreprise, and she asked me.
PWC.
Yes, she asked me.
PWC. Okay.
Yeah, she asked me. Uh, this is what I think. I did not ask them feedback because they don't give feedback. Most of them, but
Okay.
for me, I some point I record to see what I did, what I hear, what I said. I she told me what is your weakness,
Mm-hmm.
and I told her as a person who is inquisitive, communicative. In some point, I could interrupt you. In the point, I don't mean interrupting you directly. This out because in working in consultation, uh, you have to be very very active listener, never interrupting the person.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
that's
I get you.
that's make me. I don't have to mention. Even I do not like. I don't want to mention
No,
that, but
Olivier.
like I feel like it's pointed out of me, and which is not good. And also they
I think,
always asking.
sorry.
Yeah, they always asking why you are wanna work with us, and
Mm-hmm.
they are always looking about the value and the culture and this stuff. And for me, I'm not used to it about
Okay.
this thing because you know you study. For me, always as a person thinking about technical part, what you are gonna bring to them. But actually, as what I figure out as the person who's junior, almost they don't care. They don't care. They're not giving very important values about technical part
Mm-hmm.
because
That's
most of the
true.
student They don't know what is SQL. If you ask them what is SQL, what is Python or R, they don't know,
Mm-hmm.
and they
Yeah,
don't.
indeed.
And for example, it depends the company. They use 360 Microsoft, or they use ACP, or they
Mm-hmm.
use Salesforce integrated in their system, or they use Odoo. And for me, as the person always thinking in the mind what I could bring them technically, and I was trying to learn this stuff. And the point I lost, like there is like infinite tools. There is, and each time I need to learn, and I put priority. No, I have to learn SQL because it's very important. I have to learn R, Python, and and then I have to learn ACP. For example, yesterday one company they called me, your profile is very good, amazing. You speak Dutch, you speak French, and then they told me we will have an interview with you after. And what I figured out, they asked ACB. She told me, you know ACB? I told her, frankly, I know ACB, but I did not work with it. I just take theoretical things about ACB because this you did not study at school ACP. What is ACP? You study the concept of for the knowledge for finance, logistics, supply chain, this stuff. And as for me, as I'm looking for always work job and reading job description, for, they asking many technical things, which is always thinking about these technical things. But in another point, they are looking about communication is very, 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 very important. They don't care about technical part more than they care the way if you communicate and the way of you are the person who inquisitive, who wanna learn, who are motivated to improve and matching the value. Because one time I received rejection from one company and I go to who's working with this company in LinkedIn. I try to contact them one by one to understand why make me disqualify or how you get accepted. I ask them, they are new at this company and they got hired, and I told them, could you tell me how was your process for being accepted? I will make you accepted. And then what she told me, the HR value, the HR, she told me your value is not matching with us because you go to our colleagues and ask them why, which is not respectful, she told me. And
Okay. But I think the best way now would be to maybe do a simulation. I'm going to pretend I'm the
yeah,
HR or hiring manager, whatever it is, because it's very the they send me the offer from Telenet where so you're going to have an interview with them.
this no, I just apply. I'm just waiting.
Okay.
I already waiting for business decision. I apply for business decision, and I did 3 interview. Now I almost like 15 days waiting, but I did not receive an
With
answer.
Telenet.
No, with business decision.
Business. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to pretend that you're having the interview with Telenet. I'm going to start recording so you have it.
They have a program for junior in different department
Okay. Um,
because I send you the link. I think it's not gonna work because the website is very
but
complicated.
I received the Telenet junior application position, so I've read it a bit. I've highlighted what I think they're looking for, and I think just be normal, be natural, just do the interview as you would do it. It will be easier for me to maybe tell you which thing you should. So that's how I'm going to tell you at the end. This is usually the tips that I give, what you should continue doing, what you should just doing, and what you should stop doing. Okay. And then I will give you a debrief, and then you can then look a bit um, after afterwards at the recording. Okay.
Okay.
So so nice to meet you, Mohammed.
Nice to meet you.
um, so we're here today to talk about the junior talent application, but I would like first for you to start and maybe present yourself.
Yeah, thank you for giving me this opportunity for having a discussion with you about this for this job proposition. And firstly, I would introduce myself as the person who's grew up in Gaza and have a lot of difficulties and challenging. And I grew up with a sense of challenge, sense of a problem solving, and sense of work and responsibility and work ethics, which is that growing this in my DNA during whole of my life for different stage, starting from my high school, which is that was a point highlighted in my life, which is I been elite and I get high marks at my school and I be rewarded for studying in Spain, in my country, in program business administration. This is my studies first, studying business administration, 3 years. During my study, I have been selected also to present my country to work in program for leadership, which is that program changed me a lot and give me a lot of skills and being representing the marginalized people, which is giving me the way of thinking how we could have how we could solve the problem for these people in my country. And I grow up and I get more academic background, excellent background, and I be rewarded to study in Spain. And I study in Spain almost 1 year, 6 months. 6 months I study as Erasmus student, and then I moved to Belgium and continue my study in business and economics almost 1 year, and then I did the master. I'm in the last year of my master, Louvain-la-Neuve. During my master, which is very a good experience. During my master, I work in different sector in consulting, and I have been participating different business game for different companies for starting from been from McKinsey, for BWC, and also for Telenet, which is was like 2 weeks ago. And during these cases, we handle different problem, we handle different case, and we have to propose a solution and delivering values for stakeholders and customers. Yes.
But was that real? So you really did that for Telenet, or was
Yes.
it like work for? So that was real. So you did work for Telenet and
Yeah, it's real.
PwC.
I
Okay.
received
And was it on your own or with a group?
it was with a group with one person. We worked together,
Okay.
and I received this offer from Telenet because we did this work and they told us it was amazing your works with so that we would recommend you to apply for this opportunity. So that's what we figured out about Telenet, which is really amazing about the way of working and the environment and how they are trying to help the marginalized people in the country here, Belgium. So that, yeah,
And who's the point of contact at Telenet that you had that interview with? What did you did the job for?
yeah, it was the case study for as Telenet. They are working three sector. They are working in digital skills and they are working for internet skills, internet service. For example, here in this period of time, they with with their organization, they have a collaboration. They done two phases, which was internet by giving the subscription less expensive, for these people to have access to the internet, and also for digital. But for digital, they have a problem to understand which kind of skills they need to enable these kind of people, because they are figuring out there is 37% of Belgian people, they have a problem with digital literacy, how to use this program and these skills, which is nowadays is like a passport, you know.
And um, and so you told me that at the end they offer you a position. That's what you were saying.
Now the offer to applying for this program, and
So okay, the program you're playing now. So they
yeah,
told you to apply. And who was that person?
her name Louisa, I think.
Okay, so that
She's recruiter, and I talked to her, and I
okay. So Luisa was the recruiter you talked to, but the case you made, was that for a purpose, or you just made it to show yourself?
no, it was for purpose, because they are proposing for our university. We have like
Okay,
business club. During
okay,
this
I
business,
understand.
yeah, this business club, we have to handle solution for different case. We have three case. First start from Telenet, and then Belfast, and then Luminous.
Okay, and so when you handed the case, it was to Luisa. She was the one doing the bridge between the business at Telenet and you, and she told you that she was very happy about
Yeah,
the
she
case. Okay.
yeah, not for me, also for other colleagues from my university, they handle this case. Yeah, but she always like highlighting by email that you did a good job, and we would like to recommend you to apply for this program. And I
Okay.
apply for this program.
Okay, good. And so, regarding experience, so you did see in the job description, it's a very junior, so we're really open for any career path. Could you tell me what you're looking for here at Telenet? What kind of position?
Yeah, for me, what I look to be working as a business analyst, because for me, I figured out it's it's matching what I look and what I have at this time, as the person who's gonna work between developer and working with the client, and you are in the middle, and you translating the need of the client to the solution that you by documenting to the developer, and transferring this solution to help this customer, this client.
And what do you have? Do you have any experience that would let us know you would be good in that?
Uh, for yes, I during I have different case study. It depends the case, but for documenting, for example, logical business program UML, I did not use it, but I as the person, I have like ERP system. I have a case for ERP system, building a platform by ERP system by Odoo, and with that I build the whole process. Where we have a customer, we trying helping this farmer to transfer to real application by building a models, and during these models we have a project manage like a project management, and I have to deliver the staff, and pointing and putting priority. This stuff has to be done at this time, and this stuff has to be done this time, and building business logic, and with the graph and each phase what we have to handle. Yeah, and then we did it, and we deliver it for university.
Okay, so that was a case study, right?
Yeah,
But did you do what about, because I saw on your CV that you did a lot of internship?
Yeah, almost like an internship. Yeah, for last one it was. This is almost an internship, very intensive because this company is a startup. We have to help this startup from scratch, from their business model,
Which one was it?
business,
Better Business
better
Startup?
business. Yeah,
Okay.
better
So,
business.
so maybe tell me a bit. So when you finished your studies, that was in 2000, well, you're still finishing your master, right?
Yeah, I finished almost. I just have my thesis to write my thesis.
Okay. And then, but since you came in Belgium, you worked a bit
Yes,
because I see that you were an assistant logistic, then you were a social media manager, then you started doing business consulting as an apprentice,
yes,
and then a few internship along the way, right?
yes.
Those internship, were they for school because they were you were asked to do it for school, or did you apply by yourself?
No, I did. I applied for by myself and almost with a school, like better business with a school, other by myself.
But I mean, is it because you want, is it for you for self-knowledge, or is
Yes,
it you
no,
have to?
because for me, I want to build a career and this domain. I want to be always on the ground because for me, I spend a lot of time studying. In some point, I feel like not in some point here, they asking for experience and how the way that you are always being motivated to be engaging with companies and applying even for an internship, even for like 2 days workshop and something like that. And I always, for me, always be following, registering. For example, tomorrow I have with McKinsey presentation for workshop. How could you presenting case study based on McKinsey? And I also last week I invited for burger for Roland Burger, which is also is a consulting company. They invite me for art of the case, how you structure the case study. uh, yeah, and so that I was trying to learn and figure out what do I need to be on the track, what do I need as a skills to be qualified on and be very knowledgeable and very acceptable in this domain.
Okay. And did you apply to one of those internship?
Yes, but I did not receive. They told me just wait. I apply for KPMG. I apply for Roland tomorrow. Is
No,
different.
but I mean, where you had your internships,
Ah,
Club LSM, Bain and Company, Business Startup, did you ask maybe to have a contract with them?
no, because almost it was like short period this internship.
Yeah, but maybe there could be did you ask if there were positions open for them over there?
Yeah, yes. They sometimes they propose an internship. It depends the period. And for me, it was
Yeah,
as I'm
this is,
studying.
it's not internship. I was asking, it's a job. Like, you say that you want to look for
Ah,
something.
yes.
Were they open maybe because you did an internship? The most logical way is you do an internship and then they make you an offer for a
Yeah,
job.
because I'm studying and now I did this it's like 1 years ago and now I almost finishing my study. Uh,
Okay.
so at this period I apply for different companies.
And did you contact them again where you did your internship to see maybe there was position open?
No, not yet. Ben. No, not yet. I did not contact.
And why not?
Uh, y- because for me it's very very competitive in this company and they are looking for really Belgium guys. And for me,
What?
I don't have nationality yet.
Okay.
For me, next year, because they ask nationality. some of these companies.
So for the moment, you have a work permit.
I have, yes, I have unlimited as a refugees, and next year I will have the right to apply. I will have the right
Okay.
nationality.
Okay. Okay, that's good to know. Maybe I want to know a little bit, how would we're gonna your friends. This is a bit out of the box question. How would your friends describe you?
How my friend described me, I would say as the person I'm very helpful to my friend. They will describe me, because I always trying to help them from the different problems that they have it. And I have different real example here. I have one of my friend, he's sick, and I always reading about his sickness, and I trying to translate about him and trying to help him in the hospital, connecting and communicating with the doctor, which is really improving my French. And also I have different friends helping them in their service, because the language, they have barriers, and I'm trying always to help them. And I always knowing a lot. I would not say I know everything, but I know a lot of things, so that I share what they have to do. For example, they have a problem in this surface, they could not handle it. Yeah, yeah, I advise you could do this and this, and then they will solve it for you. Yeah. And also in for communication, and this in the communication skills, in some point, like I feel like to be as the person, uh, if I have a problem, almost I don't show it. I keep it to myself, and I trying to trying to solve the problem of myself. In some point I could share it, but as the person here, I'm living alone, so that's in some point is very difficult for me. But I always trying to understand myself, why is this wrong, and trying to improve what I could done for the next time. For example, if this person did something wrong in the way of you communicate, or I did something wrong, I always trying to apologize and to recognize myself that I did something wrong. Yeah, this my
Okay.
friend, they could describe me.
And what do you, how I say that in English? What ticks you off in people? Like some people, you're not gonna like them because of certain things. What type of personality are you not gonna get along with, and what don't you like in a person?
If I feel him is like burden, useless.
If you, if they are useless,
Yes, and just disadvantaging. And I have a lot of experience from different people.
like what, for example?
Uh, for example, for how the way of using money. For example, for me, I put budget this that I have to spend in this time, this time. I have a friend like 2 days ago. Uh, I give him money, and I told him, give it me back this certain of time. He told me, yes, of course, I will give it you. And then 2 weeks done. He did not give me. And I told him, before I help him in another things, which is I give him my account for working in, for example, I don't know if you know Uber,
Mm-hmm.
and then he destroy my account. He screw up my account, and they close my account uh, because of him. I told him, you do not have to do this and this, but he did not listen to me, and he screwed up my account, and also the way of were treating me like he's like just yes, I take this, and then he didn't know my situation, but I always trying to help him, but in some point I just receive nothing. Like I don't expect something from him. Also, I don't expect something from him, but in some point, don't hurt me because you don't know what I have to do. For example,
Yeah. Okay. And so if you would have to tell me maybe two strength and two, well, I don't like the word weaknesses, but things you know you need to work on.
yeah. For weakness, for strengthness point, I could say I am always curious person of learning, and which is really give me an opportunity to learn different technical skills, and I'm familiar almost with a different tools, and I always trying to apply these tools in real case, and building my portfolio. This I could say in the technical part, and also my strengthness point always asking why. I'm a person always asking why this could happen, why this. It's create a sense of building a logic and being problem solver, and in even in real life, or in the problem in different business case. Yeah, and for weakness, I would say I have in some point a priority of the which skills do I need to use, do I need to learn, or this I need to learn. In some point, I feel like I'm lost, and I have like to do like I have to organize it, which is I did it. I almost trying to improve every day. I make like a reflection of myself for this issue by, for example, I have to learn French, Dutch, and also technical technical things, which is sometimes like feel like confusing, and I lost my track. But I use Notion, and I target weekly objective goals and daily objective goals, and I trying each time to change something in the level of this weakness point. Yeah, and the second point, as the person, sometimes I feel very spontaneously, and the person who is fronting me who don't know me, maybe they could get something wrong about me, but in reality I don't mean it that, which is I always trying to ask for feedback, or what I did wrong with you, you could help me to improve. For example, in yesterday, like yesterday, I think, with my housemate, we are discussion, and in some point, we have in discussion for different culture and different way, and we have and trying to understand how is this different, how as the person we grow up in the environment, we never see people from different uh, country, and here, which is always trying I always trying to change and understand and be always mindful for other person, what the way of they are thinking and the way of they are communicating, because in some point they could use create misunderstanding, and I trying always to read off. Yeah.
Okay, good. So why would you want to apply and join Telenet?
Yes, it's really good question. First of all, it's a company driven by people, which people they are creating different values, different for the company, also for the community, and also what really attract me for telling it during my case, which how they are working in helping people marginalized, and in some point I could describe myself as I'm a marginalized. I came here to Belgium. I don't speak French or Dutch, or I have difficulties for integrating. And with Telenet, they trying to help these people to be integrated and like qualify them, enabling them in the community in Belgium, which is really amazing for me. That's mean giving me they are inclusive company. They have different people, different profile, and also the third point I could mention is learning process. They have a program for learning and continuous learning, which is for me also as the person always inquisitive to learn the trends, to learn the tools, how can make efficiency and effectiveness the work, which is reflecting very good for me. So that I
Okay.
would apply for killing it.
Okay. And why should we choose you?
Why you should choose me? Uh, First of all, as I would say, as the person who, as I mentioned before, growing in Gaza, having a lot of difficulties and creating a sense of responsibility and sense of problem solving, and this which is make my profile in a point is be highlighted how I spend and trying to rid of this problem and creating a profile as the person of ethical culture and responsibility and problem solving, and the the way or and the familiarity with technologies and applying the technologies on the real project. That these combinations that's make my profile of for sure that's make my profile as the person who could be qualified for this position.
Okay. Um, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
First of all, I would say first year 2 years, the first 1 2 years, I would build my solid track on the business analyst and learning the way of structuring the case and having familiarities with the business analyst tools. And after that, I would say myself as the person who could uh, working in different positions for improving, like being as the person first of all working a business analyst, and then you could work in product owner, and then you could work in the project management and being working in project management, for example, using uh, Scrum Master and Agile, which is that I would create a, a I would create a profile is for project management, and for me also I would deliver something to my community, share my experience for other people. This is what I would see myself after 5 years.
Okay. Um, what kind of team are you looking for?
Yes, for what kind of team? I first of all I look for the team who's very open mindset and communicative person. Always there is something wrong. yeah, we have this something wrong, how we could improve this problem. I wasn't trying, yeah, there is something we have to fix it this time. We not have to handle it after a period of time, you know, and also very being very inclusive for the team is really important. Make synergy of the team and then trying to deliver the effective efficiency value for the company.
Okay. And what kind of manager would you like to work with?
I would work with a manager who always giving me feedback, and I don't have any problem with feedback. I'm not very sensitive person. I'm a person who always trying to understand because we are not complete as the person. We're always trying to learn. And for me, first of all, I need my manager to give me feedback, what is wrong in my profile and what is wrong in my task and how I could improve this task and trying sharing experience with me because very important for me to to get the feedback and improve this feedback. To improve
Yeah.
this feedback also very important, not just to give to yeah I get the feedback and then I would always ask him yeah how I done it after you give it feedback, how you after I get your feedback.
Okay. And regarding your languages, could you tell me, apart from English, which languages do you speak?
My mother tongue is Arabic. The, the second language is English. La troisième, c'est le français. De vierde talig is Nederlands. Ik ga als dienstbedrijven. Tu parles néerlandais? Ah, euh,
On peut parler français.
oui, à cause de cette entreprise, ils sont flamands. Pour ça, moi aussi, j'ai plus de problème avec néerlandophone. Je parle néerlandais ici. Je suis en train d'améliorer ici mon néerlandais avec des entreprises, avec des collègues qui parlent néerlandais. Ça sera une bonne opportunité pour améliorer mon néerlandais aussi. À cause, je suis de quelqu'un très motivé. Tu vas pas trouver quelqu'un qui vient d'un autre pays, parle quatre langues pendant un an et demi. Pour ça, je suis très motivé pour aussi apprendre, améliorer mon néerlandais ou en français parce que j'ai pris le français seulement. Le néerlandais, j'ai pris par à l'école, mais je débrouille bien en français, en néerlandais.
Et
Oui.
donc, vous seriez prêt à prendre des cours pour apprendre le néerlandais ou le français?
Ah oui, mais le français, je préfère apprendre seulement parce qu'il y a énormément de ressources pour apprendre néerlandais. À part d'autres néerlandais, français, à part néerlandais, non, il n'y a pas beaucoup de ressources. Pour ça, je préférais par à l'école pour apprendre. Je suis en train de finir à niveau presque B1. Je veux, je veux commencer B2 euh, en juillet. Oui, en juillet, je vais commencer B2. Oui, pour ça, à niveau de la langue aussi, j'ai toujours faire de mon mieux pour améliorer, parler avec des gens. Je fais aussi chaîne de YouTube, je fais vidéo, je demande des gens parfois, de temps en temps, est-ce que tu peux parler avec moi? Pour ça, elle m'a créé de quelque chose, comment tu vas communiquer, comment tu vas être communicatif avec des gens.
Okay. 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 Thank you. We can go back in English. I don't know if you have any questions for me.
Yeah, j'aimerais bien que si tu peux me donner un feedback. euh, c'est quoi les choses mal, comment je veux trajet, hein, comment je veux améliorer. Parce que parfois, j'aimerais bien travailler dans l'entreprise Business Telenet, mais parfois, je ne sais pas comment je vais engager.
Okay. Do you want to switch back in English, maybe?
Quand vous voulez.
Yeah, we can.
Moi, je préfère
Um,
français
Pourquoi?
parce que vous êtes française.
I know, but I understand, but it's you sound more correct in English.
Okay, no problem for me.
So I think it's just for the end because we finished, but I wanted to understand the question you asked me at the end of the question. Was that a question you would ask an
No, no,
HR?
no. It's not for what I'm not gonna
Okay.
ask for this company.
Okay, so that's why I was asking. When I said, do you have any question for me? I was still
No.
doing the HR. So what
Ah,
question would you ask?
ah. What I would ask? Uh, I would ask for the companies how they could, what kind of profile you are looking at this point, and that I could also make myself very qualified in the point I'm not if I'm not be hired in this program, because for me I very interesting in this company. I would really work with them.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Um, it was intense. So are you ready for the feedback?
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, do you want me to do which languages do you understand better, English or French?
English or French? English is better,
Okay,
but if
so I
you
want
speak
always
French
to
also.
start. Maybe it's the feedback is always better. I want you to tell me where do you think the highlights were and how do you feel about yourself during that interview?
How I feel myself,
Yeah, how do you think you did?
I almost, I think good in some point, and in some point maybe wrong.
What would be the good?
What would be the good? Uh, as the way I present myself, I could say it's good point how I being gradually presenting myself from my background, my study, and for work experience. At some point, I mixed a lot something, and maybe I in some point I forget myself, which I talk a lot, and in some point I have to be strict to the time and be limit, and I was trying to be on time, not going further. This also I feel is wrong, maybe because I talk, for example, you ask me about my weakness. I talk about my friend and the story of my friend, which is they are not interesting about this story, I think. But
Well,
as a
yeah.
person, I told you I'm very spontaneous, and and I like the person who's open up, like open his heart for the person, yeah, and talk friendly. When I almost talk to HR, I talk to them mostly friendly, which is in some point it's wrong because they are very looking very professional way.
It depends, okay? Don't sell yourself too short on this. I think if I can give you my feedback, I think you know very well why some of the points you need to work on, you already know. I think there are some things you don't see, so that's what I'm here for. And I think you will see it when you will look at the recording because there are two things on Teams is the verbal communication and the nonverbal communication. And it's the body language, it's very important and is so I don't know if you know a bit in communication,
Of course.
but the communication is I think it would be 5% words and then the tone of the voice is like 25% and the rest of the communication is only body language. So the body language will be the main point of communication where you're speaking with someone. So you can say the most clever things. If your body is not acting the right way, your message is not going to go through. So one thing you should be very careful for is that when you are on Teams, you're moving your feet and it's making your move like this. You're doing it right now. And so it looks like you don't want to be here. You know what I mean? And so it looks like you're tense and it's stressful and you should, maybe before an interview, maybe like relax, breathe in, or have maybe a ball you can squish on the side so it takes your mind off your foot, because I know people who do that, they move a bit their foot, but it's something that if you're moving a lot in an interview, it can stop the message from going where it needs to go. So maybe breathing exercise could help to slow down the stress before an interview. Because if I look at the content, there really are some good points, because the way you introduce yourself was very good, because you storytelling, I think you know that in your studies. You did it because you brought us to the way you grew up, where you come from, what kind of strain it gave you, and immediately caught me. But then the body language comes in and then whoop, you take us back again. And so you should really work on keeping it true to yourself, because you do have the knowledge, the skills. Your background gave you that strength in your personality. So you have everything an employee could look for. The fact that you want to learn, you're solution minded, you're resilient, because you come from another country, which is intense over there, and then you moved, and then you studied, and then you move again, and then you studied again. So the resilience is there. So I think you should highlight this a bit more. But it's true, the fact that you need to, less is more, that's, so that what I mean by that is you can give example, but less is more. So when you say, yes, from a background, I did this and then I moved to there and then it gave me this and this and this. You don't need to stay 5 hours saying the story, but take the highlights of what you come from, what it gave you as a strength. And then you move to the studies and you did it really well, because from your studies, you said what you took out of them, what it made you learn, and that's very good. You should always do that. When you study somewhere, always say what came out of those studies. What did it bring you? So that was very good. I think you should also be careful of the questions I'm asking, because sometimes I would have to repeat the questions. So it's always best to say, could you repeat the question? I'm not sure I understood, rather than answering for a long period and it's not
You
it wasn't
know,
the right question.
sometimes I ask this question. They told me what? I asked this for Deloitte.
Okay.
She told me, sorry, I would not continue with you.
Because you asked that question.
Yes, she told me, you don't understand. We don't need you.
Well, you know what? In those circumstances, tell yourself you dodged a bullet, because you don't want to work for a company that treats you this way.
Yeah, I hate this company. I fully hated this company.
And I understand this. You should be able to say, I'm sorry, I misunderstood the question. I understand that if you ask that 10 times during the interview, it's going to be a bit
Yeah,
intense,
one
but
time.
you should be able to ask one. Even I sometimes, I don't understand the question in French, and I'm going to say, I'm sorry, I didn't understand. So that's maybe a value that company you don't want to go for. But make sure you understood. Something you can do is repeat the question. So you want to know, just to be sure, you want to know this, and this is another way of asking to repeat and to make sure you understood the question. Um, what I like also is, so when I ask you, what are you looking for? What kind of position? I think you were on point, because they're looking for IT people and they do have a lot of business analysts. So that's a need they have there. But again, you went too much in depth, you know, because they do know what a business analyst is. What would be interesting is why you are looking for this. Why is it something you would like to do? Okay.
Yeah.
So when I say, what are you looking for, is I want to be a business analyst because this is what I like. I like to translate needs and show them that you know what a business analyst do, and that you match to this thanks to your skills. It's always good to make a link for them so they don't have to do it. Always control the interview by having all the answers to what they're going to ask you so they don't have to ask you anymore. That's the perfect interview. Um, so I wrote this. I think sometimes when I would ask you, I'm going to read as long as I wrote my notes, okay, because I didn't have time to organize my feedback. So it's going to be a bit, blunt. If I were you, I would, well, yeah, I'm recording, so you can take the notes afterwards for your next interview to prepare this. But sometimes when I ask you a question, I think you're thinking about the answer or you may be disturbed by the question, but you sometimes roll your eyes. And that's a very big no-go in an interview because this puts you immediately in a defensive mood. And so if you're defensive, then that person feels she's attacking and it's not a good way you want to do this. So always, keep your body in mind when you do an interview. And what would help is the way you put your camera. Because if the camera is lower than you, you're always looking down. So you should like maybe put it higher, so you're more looking up. Because I don't know if you're on a computer or
I'm in the computer, the
yeah,
laptop.
but so maybe put something under the laptop, like we have those kind of things here at the office. It's like a
Ah,
little thing or a big book because it's always better to be in front of the camera rather than above it. Okay?
ah,
So that helps for the body language. And so I was also asking you of the internship. Every time someone asks you about the opportunity that you had, the works that you did, always talk about it in a way like I did that internship and I learned this. And now I have a new skills that is going to make me a better candidate for you. Don't talk about the internship like you're justifying what you did and what you learn. Everything you do will brought you to this moment. You have to think that your life is like a red line and everything you did brought you here and made you the best candidate for them. So every time you answer a question, always keep that in mind that if you talk about your internship, highlights what you learn and what would match to the company. Okay? And so this will help you not to go in all the directions. And
okay.
these type of answers, you need to prepare them before. Like, what did you learn in your studies? What did you learn in your internship that is making you the best candidate for this position? Every time, every opportunity is different. Some things will come back again, some others don't. But this way, you're always straightforward and have notes. You can have notes when you have an interview. It's okay, so you don't forget. Um, what I really liked, and I think you should do that more in your interview. But when I asked you how would your friends describe you, you really lit up. You had a big smile on your face, and you showed what kind of friend you had. And I really thought, oh, it's the first time that I'm seeing Mohammed,
Yeah.
you know? And I think you should reach to that part more and be more smiling and present because it helps. A smile is contagious. If I see a smile, automatically, scientifically, I will be in a smiling.
Mm.
It's like neuroscience, the mirror neurons we have. So, and there were a few questions where I will ask you, and whoop, you will come in a smile, and that was a good way of being. So, when you talk about your experiences, about your life, having a smile and being, dynamic and enthusiastic is always good. Um, so you gave good explanation of why your friends like you, and I thought it gave a good sense of who you were. Um, and so when I ask about your strength and your weaknesses, I think it's good to link it to the job again. What kind of strengths and weaknesses do you have that would make you a good candidate? Also, weaknesses, you did good. You told the weaknesses, but you tell how you manage it. So that's very good. So I know that's something, it's good to know your weaknesses, but you're working on them. So that's good. And the strength, very good, because you said that one of your strengths is the fact you like to learn and it matches the job. So that's good. And when you say you always ask why, maybe tell them it doesn't mean that if someone tells me do this, I'm going to ask him, why should I do this? It's more like I want to know more and learn, but I know my limits. If it's a task given by my manager, I will do it. I will not ask a question because this is a dangerous answer. Because if, for example, I'm having an interview and the people tell me he's always asking why, I'm going to be a bit afraid because sometimes you need people just to do it. Okay.
Yes.
So careful with that answer. And when you say, why don't you like in a person, be careful because you went too in depth and it wasn't sure what exactly, it wasn't something you didn't like. It was more that you didn't like when you didn't feel respected. I think that was more what came out of it. So maybe like, this is a question people ask sometimes because so behind that question, we see more in you than what you don't like. Because what we don't like in other people is things we don't accept about ourselves. So when we ask you that question, think before answering and be prepared.
Yes.
For example, right now, are you moving your feet?
No.
Are you moving somewhere? Because your camera is moving a lot.
No. I don't know. It's moving?
Yeah, because you look like you're doing this.
I don't know. Maybe because of the chair.
Maybe take a steady chair for the interviews.
Ah,
Because again, and I give you the feeling when you're doing this, it's becoming very stressful for the person in front.
of course. Ah, why this moving distracting?
Yeah, like it looks like you're not interested in what I'm saying.
Oh no!
But I know. That's why. But look at how the body language can be very tricky. So that's why maybe have a steady chair when you do interviews if they're on Teams. So you know that you won't be able to move. And I don't know, strap your legs to the chair, do something like this. But this way, it looks like you're very focused. Someone that is focused is someone that is not moving. Okay. And for the rest, why Telenet? I really love that answer because it really shows that you are interested in Telenet because of their values and like they were looking for marginalized people, and you linked it to your story, so it felt really personal, and that's very good because it's why you want to go there. It's you made a link, and it matches. And I think what would be good is also the fact that it matches the job description because you said, yeah, you want to teach people and so on and so on. So that was a good answer. Um, the why you from the last question, the why you is the hello Olivier. We didn't see you before. Why you? It's a very important question. We call this the X factor question. So this is the moment to have the best answer possible prepared. And it's sad because when you told me why Telenet, it was very thoughtful and touches, but why you? I didn't see why you know? And I like that you started with, well, as I told you, growing in Gaza was really difficult. And then you should have continued. It made me this kind of person. And this kind of person would be good for your business because you're looking for this. Also, my knowledge and you didn't emphasize you have a lot of masters. Why you? But all your knowledge. This is a good value for a company. And it shows also the resilience, the tenacity you have to do the studies, learn new languages. You have a big X factor and you should really work on that answer. For example, well, first of all, how I grew up and what kind of person it made me. Then also, I studied a lot and it shows that I'm resilient. I want to learn. I can adapt easily to new environment because I changed countries. And all of this would make me the best candidate for Telenet because it would match this and this and this in the job description, you know?
Yeah.
Because again, then, because in that answer, you told some things, but it's like where was the wow factor? Always remember, when someone asks you why you, always think, okay, wow, I need to give wow. Okay.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, your goal in life, next 5 years, it was, you told me what you were looking for. The team and the manager was a good answer. The languages, I'm not sure on this correctly, but when I asked you, would you be open to learn Dutch? You told me, no, I prefer to learn French first, right?
No,
Ah, okay.
I told you je préférais parler le français. J'ai pris le français seulement, seul, mais le français néerlandais, j'ai pris barre à l'école.
Okay. Okay. Because it looks like you were saying, I don't really care about Dutch. I prefer to learn French. And I'm like,
No,
oh,
no.
Telenet is a Dutch company, so don't tell them that. I
Dutch
don't really
is
see.
front of my eyes.
Okay. So maybe just answer to that. Yes, I'm open to have more classes. I'm doing classes in Dutch for the moment and helping with friends, but I'm open to both. Um, yes, and yeah, I know. And when I ask you what your friends say about you, no, what you like about people, indeed, that was true. You went too into details in the story. When you say what I don't like about people, for example, me, and you always have to turn it in something positive. So me, what I hate about people is unfairness. If someone is not fair, oof, it rounds me up immediately. But what does it say? Is that I'm a fair person. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay. And that sometimes I can be unfair in certain situations because what you don't like in others is always a reflect on you. So indeed, I can be unfair to people. But don't say he didn't bring me back my money because this is too personal and, you know, and it's not something you want to find in a work environment. But people that are not fair or people like I hate racist. That's a good thing you can hate in people,
Oh shit.
you know.
Yes.
Or I don't like people that don't respect others, you know. That's something you don't like in someone. Okay, things have bigger values. That's so I don't forget. I wanted to tell you that.
Yeah.
Um, okay, but I think you have everything to succeed in an interview. You just have to work on prepare better your answers and practice, practice more and be very careful of the body language because we forget how important it comes in an interview.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
I give a
You
lot of information.
yeah, I'm really appreciating you. You already working in IT companies?
Yeah,
Ah, for me, because in some point I discussed with my mentor Olivier uh, about companies, about the tools, because in some point, I feel lost.
yeah,
There is a lot of tools, and each tools you could build a career in.
of course.
Yes, for example, ACP, working business analyst, ACP, Salesforce, working in Salesforce, uh,
Indeed.
Odoo, and in some point
But
that me, I don't know where I have to apply because this
I
company
think you
not
can
you.
apply it too.
Yes,
No, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, this company they are not using one system. They have different. Each company they adapt this different system. And when I applied, I wanted to make myself knowledgeable with this and this and this. If I be rejected in this company, I could move to this company.
I know, but the thing is, in IT, you need to start somewhere. So that's a good thing that are taking in juniors. I thought about it during the interview. It's very rare that we look for business analysts that are juniors, but I could, if you're okay with it, I can share your CV with my colleagues because I do work in a recruitment company. So that's my job to find candidates like you and present them to opportunities. So if you are interested, I could
Yes,
maybe share your profile with my colleagues and see if they're looking for a business analyst. But I think you need to start somewhere as a junior because there's a difference between where you learn at school, which is going to be very high surface, and what you're going to do on the job. And it will depend. If you want to be a business analyst, you're not going to use the tools the same way that a system engineer is going to, or a developer is going to, or even SAP. It's going to be one way for you can do SAP, FCMD. I don't know all the different tools of SAP,
Yeah.
And so at some point, the only thing you can do is apply, apply, apply. Tell them that you have learned a lot of tools, that you have an idea of where you want to do, that you like. You need to see for yourself which. Do you want to be a technical side or do you want to be more on the business side? I feel you want to be more on the business side, though, if
And
I'm correct.
technical side,
You
I
want to
did.
be on the technical side.
Yes, because
Okay, but that doesn't show in the interview.
I have think, but I did not mention it. And normally I don't mention it for this company for my dyslexic.
Okay.
So that I don't mention it in some point for me. For example, when I'm right, I need times to write. You understand
Of
what I
course.
mean? So that uh, most of these job, not all of these job, they're asking you to be very in writing, very excellent. And for me, I
Yeah.
always use tool to fix my
Then why are you saying that you want to be a business analyst if you want to be on the technical part?
because you are gonna work in two parts, in the business side and the technical side.
But you're not as a business analyst. You're the translator. You're never doing the technical part. The technical part is done by the technical, and the
Yeah,
business is done by the business, but you're in between. You're not doing any technique.
yeah. In the
Okay.
point, like I understand the technical part how it work because I be engaging with the cloud surface. I I
Okay.
I take Azure
Yeah.
2000. I so that's make me also, I know what is the technical part in some like I learning program language Python, R, and HTML and Java and this kind of stuff. And also in the point, I like the knowledge, actual knowledge of business. And I spent all my year, and I feel in some point, yeah, it's really amazing to use the knowledge that I have it on on companies.
But I think you should just trust yourself, prepare yourself. There's always be prepared. It's the main thing I can tell you is always be prepared. If you're prepared and you know how you can be and everything, and one of the questions you can ask at the end, and that's a good advice I can give you, is tell them what's the next step and when will you receive a feedback? So you can avoid the fact that they don't give you a feedback. And if they don't come back to you, you can send an email and said, hello, you told me you will give me a feedback by this date. Could you give me more news? Have them be responsible on their side as well. What is the next step? Because that was a good question when you asked her, what kind of profiles are you looking for? I really like that. And that's very good to know. But also ask, how does the recruitment process work? When can I hear from you? When is the next step?
Yeah,
And close the person in front of you. Okay, so Friday we'll have more news, you know?
yeah.
And this way you're not lost at sea behind all the applies
They
you've
ask
done.
me, for example, sometimes like business decision, they ask me this question. Almost it was the last question to see how many cars in Belgium. They ask me.
Oh, yeah, they're like a Google company. They do this. What kind of food do you want to be?
No, because they want to understand how you are gonna to think.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I don't like those questions. Well, thank you for
Thank you. I
practicing
really
and
appreciate you, and
I will send you the recording so you have it and you can, and I will try to put my notes a bit more clear so you can have them as well.
yeah,
And I wish you the best of luck.
yeah. I really appreciate you, and I would say you are the first person who handle things for give me values. I did before, but almost not what I expected. And you are mentioning the point that yeah, I feel really this point. I need to prepare for this point and what I learned from each school and delivering, which is I mention my schools and I go down and I talk with my mentors. I lost yeah, I mention a lot because my story is not gonna end it up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I'm happy that I could help you.
yeah. Thank you,
Thank you very much, Eva, for your time.
thank
Thank you,
you,
Olivier. Have a nice day, both of you.
thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Bye.
All right,
Bye.
we contact each other.
Yeah, bien sûr.
Ok, au téléphone tout à l'heure?
Oui, 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 bien sûr. On va.
Dans une demi-heure, ça va pour toi?
Oui, ça va.
Ok, impeccable. Hein?
Oui, si tu peux rester ici, quand vous voulez.
À tout à l'heure. Hein?
Quand vous voulez, si tu peux ici, maintenant, tu vas travailler?
Écoute, non, on peut le faire maintenant dans 5 minutes. Écoute, moi j'ai trouvé, let's move to English. I joined you just 2 minutes late, but I didn't miss a lot. I had some connection problem and suddenly it appears. So I thought it was very interesting. What I would suggest is that we take the time in some days to review the whole intervention. I think it's worthwhile to look at it again if that's fine for you.
Yeah, I have the link and I could send it to you.
Yes, okay. So I think we should do that together.
Yes.
That is, I think Eva was very, very professional. I especially